Generals, gentlemen.
Hello and welcome back to Command & Conquer 3 Kane's Wrath. I am only a machine with general gentlemen, but today I am doing something different. Variety is good. We like surprises, and that's what I am. Mysterious in my games. Not really, but who cares, because in the top we have Green Zero as the green GDI, and on the bottom we have Hitman as the purple, blue, something like that, marked of Kane. Green Zero, of which being, like, I think the biggest shoutcaster in Command & Conquer. He has, like, 2,500 subs. He's really awesome. He's a mad dog. He does really cool casts for CNC3, so check him out if you have not done already. So they are playing on the map Tournament Rift, and this is pretty much one of the main maps that people play on. It's the things with CNC community is that for whatever CNC game it is, Europe Generals, Red Alert 3, CNC 3, there's always like 2 or 3 maps that everyone plays on, and Rift is one of them. So we do have very interesting scouting coming out of these riflemen, going like the long way around, probably just to make sure there's no engineers there, and I will be actually fighting over these garrisons, you know, just to try and deny the scouting. These garrisons are very important to actually see, you know, if there's bikes coming, that sort of thing, because bikes are very important to scout, because, you know, if you don't see them coming, they can really wreak havoc through your harvesters. So we do have a buggy coming out of Hitman, going to do a bit of scouting into the base of Green Zero, and so far nothing fancy just yet. No bikes, no pitbulls, just more and more harvesters. Not a big deal. That's kind of, you know, that's kind of the thing that happens in this game, is that people just build like about 3 or 4 harvesters, and then they start doing crazy stuff. But until then, you know, it's not very fast game, unlike Red Alert 3 in Generals, where you see a lot of more kind of really fast infantry battles. Often there is as well in this map. Well, this time we didn't actually see either player going for the engineer capping these Tiberium spikes. Quite often you get to see that, but not this game. But that's okay, because we do have Green Zero's MCV actually packing up, moving into the expansion here. And likewise, we do see Hitman doing the same thing, and that foxhole there, rather, is going to actually gun down the power plant. It's more so for scouting, because now Green Zero, you know, he knows exactly what's coming out of that factory, so he can actually see if he's going for more bikes. Oops, no, wrong person. He can see if he's going for bikes or harvesters, that sort of thing. It's very important, because, you know, if you see bikes, you want to start getting predators to intercept them as a result. You can also kind of use up a bit of repair. You have to waste repairing the power plant. Not really a big deal, but you're mainly for the scouting. So yes, we do actually see some pitbulls coming out of Green Zero now. Awesome! Good work there, Green Zero. He's going to use them to harass the harvesters of Hitman, but he has to make sure he goes the long way around, else he will get scouted by these garrisons here, and as a result, I'm sure we'll see Hitman start getting some Scorpion tanks. But will this buggy actually be able to scout the pitbulls? If he does scout the pitbulls, he will know they're coming, and as a result, he will get Scorpion tanks to deal with those. Not a big deal, but he does actually have a Scorpion and a... No, that's not a bike at all. That's actually a Awakened. So yeah, there is a Scorpion here, so I don't think these people is going to be very effective with the Scorpions there, but we do see a very fast airfield, and do we see Hitman actually scouted that? So I'm pretty sure Hitman's going to be like, oh no, get some anti-air, because it's a pretty big deal when your opponent actually does go for those orcas, because you really need to make sure we get AA. Now we are seeing pitbulls actually engaging the Scorpions, but they will be warded off, and will the Awakened actually EMP one of them down? If they get an EMP, they will lose all of them that are EMP'd to the Scorpions, so gotta be very careful that Green Zero doesn't actually let his pitbulls rather, get EMP'd by those Awakened, so they will be forced off. Some of them actually taking quite a bit of damage, but none of them dying, so good control there. And now, yeah, the rifleman getting cleaned up. Oh, there's an engineer! Oh, will we get the engineer? Yes, no! No, the engineer does actually survive the buggy being too fast for Green Zero. So now, I missed that completely. Yes, now the engineer from Hitman will actually cap that Tiberium spike. So good work there from actually keeping that over. Oh, but meanwhile, we did have a little Pitbull harassment here, but didn't actually get very far because of the Scorpions are there. So humanity being absolutely on the ball with his... Oh, he might even lose the power plant. Oh dear. But yeah, good work, humanity. Not losing anything, actually. Oh, EMPing down his own Scorpions as well. But it is taking down several of these people, because if they get EMP'd, they're so delicate, they're so fragile that you can lose them very easily. And now the people taking down the buggies, of course, but the Scorpions will just muscle their way through. And are we going to see more and more orcas coming out of Green Zero? Where are the orcas? Where are the orcas? Oh, they are. What have they done? Do they... Do they take out harvesters? I'm bad at this game. But that's okay. That's okay because we do see a lot of scorpions here on the field. So definitely humanity, Hitman rather, is getting more and more scorpions. But he's actually letting his power plant die. What is he doing? He had scorpion tanks. He could have easily taken down these riflemen, but no. Hitman didn't really care that much. Hitman's like, nah, not a big deal. It's only a power plant, no biggie. So we are seeing a couple of SAM turrets around in the map to deal with those orcas. Very important there, because orcas are very effective against the harvesters if you don't have anti-air. Pitbull's going to do quite a fair bit of damage against these harvesters, but really actually take that down. There's no scorpions nearby, but there is an awaken coming. That awaken can, of course, EMP the buggies, and he's going to get more awakened. He's going to actually maybe keep it alive. Yes, good EMP there, keeping that alive, but the harvester's so close to dying. Here come the Orca Strike. Orca Strike's missing. They almost killed the harvester. It's so close to dying, and it finally goes down. Good work there. Good work, Green Zero. Now, more Orcas are coming in, but there is the sand side there. They're very effective against these Orcas. They're so fragile. They're so delicate. You have to micro them very, very effectively to keep them alive. Now, we are seeing a transition into a lot of Predator tanks. Good work there, because the Predator tanks will poop all over these Scorpions if they're in an even number. Also, the fact that Hitman is investing so much in this anti-air, the Pitbull's Predator tanks are going to be very effective. And now, are we seeing Green Zero's Harvester move out? I think we are. The hell? Silly MCV, what are you doing? Oh, Sage Engine. Oh, Sage, we love you very much. We love you, Sage. Killing that engineer, where did that come from? Oh, there it is. You're gonna get the Tiberium spike. So definitely Green Zero is being very on the ball, not letting Hitman get this Tiberium spike, or Derek. You can tell I play a lot of generals because I call it Tiberium oil spike, oil Derek. That thing, oil. But yes, meanwhile Hitman still has this Tiberium spike here, and that's a pretty big deal. I definitely think Green Zero should take that out with his Orcas, because it is ticking away. It is giving him money as it goes, but now it looks like Green Zero is actually pushing out with his Predators and a Lone Shatterer. Cool. So we're going to have to see Hitman do something to deal with these tanks, and will the engineer get into the Tiberium spike? Probably not. Probably not, I would say. And where is the MCV? There it is. So the MCV is definitely packing out. And is the MCV of Hitman? No. And actually, I think the Orcas are there to intercept the MCV if it packs up. So I think that's actually quite clever placement of those Orcas to intercept the MCV if it goes there. So he's just kind of patrolling across, but now he's moving in. Green Zero is pushing to the base of Hitman with his Predators, with his Shatterers. Can Hitman actually deal with these? He doesn't have many Scorpions, but he just has so many of these awakened. So if he can EMP them down, he can be very effective. Oh, and actually landing a pretty good EMP, and now the Avatar and the Obelisk will do quite a fair bit of damage. He needs to get more EMPs to stun more of them down, but the Shatterers are actually killing all of the awakened, so it's not looking good at all. But the Avatars are very strong against the Predator tanks, but there's just so many of them. He's losing so many Avatars. There goes the main army of Hitman. What else does he have? All he has is this Obelisk of Light. 2 Obelisks of Light. They could turn the tides if they are kept alive. The Orcas have already exhausted their missile banks, so they will not be able to deal with it. So the Predator, they're dying. He's just going to focus down those Husks, and the Fanatics. The Fanatics will drive off the Predator tanks. Good work there. It's actually a very clever way of zoning out the Predators, buying him more time to repair his Obelisks. So good defense there from Hitman, keeping those Predator tanks at bay, not letting him over on the base. But it's actually very effective because if you look at it, he's very oh no, we saw, oh my god, we saw the command center, the MCV rather, get captured by the engineer with a Obelisk of Light insta-popping into the Tiberium field. That turned around so fast, and now the Obelisk of Light can actually take down that Tiberium spike. So he's going to need to get the Orcas to actually do this, because the Predator tanks will not. Come on, Orcas, take that Obelisk of Light out. Golly gosh, that was a bad move from Green Zero, letting his MCV get captured because he had that spike secured. He was looking in a really good position until that turned around so fast. Whoops. But now the Predator tanks will actually take out that spike. Good work there, going to slow down the economy just a little bit. But he's going to have to deal with this MCV because he can build refineries 2 at a time in, there's this field here. But it is very exposed, it's very isolated because it's just so far away from his main base. But now here comes another Predator and Orca push into the base of Hitman. Can he deal with this? He's going to need more Obelisk of Light just before we hit the, these Fanatics are very effective because there's just no anti-infantry at all. There is no way of dealing with them apart from crushing them, but you don't want to crush Fanatics because they explode. So I think we're going to need to see some some hammerheads or some APCs to deal with those, and actually getting an engineer to capture the Tiberium spike, but Green Zero not letting it happen on the ball there, being too fast and getting these refineries, yeah, in the main base. Well, not in main base. What am I saying? In the forward Tiberium field. Fantastic. If we look at it, we do actually see that stealth tanks are even on the field as well. So it's looking really good for Hitman, because Hitman has this Tiberium spikes field secured, and you know, he took the MCV of Green Zero, so Green Zero has to make this push work. So here come the hammerheads. Now the hammerheads will actually be very effective against these fanatics, but the harvesters are sneaking their way through. So one Obelisk of Light is on the field. That won't be enough single-handedly to deter all of these predators. Going to need to get the harvesters and the avatars in, but meanwhile the orcas are actually taking down some of these harvesters, and the obelisks of those orcas are just so effective. But here come the predator tanks pushing into the base, taking down all the defenses. All he has are these avatars, but they're quite slow. He can do damage. He needs to take out all of these harvesters, and they will render this base inoperable for mining. The avatars are just so strong against these predators. They're landing EMPs, disabling so many of the predator tanks. Hitman's EMP micro has been very effective. It's very exciting to see clutch EMP micro. The Obelisk of Light will just definitely shatter through these tanks, but damage has already been done. He's losing all of these harvesters. So that's not looking good, but he does have this base going strong, so I think this base will probably take the game for Hitman, because Green Zero, his long distance mining, he has a lot of harvesters, but it's not very effective. So, yeah, good luck to Green Zero. I think he's definitely going to need to mop up this base. Here comes the sneaky engineer. Don't let the engineer cap your base again, but we do have a tech center from Green Zero, so Juggernauts would be very effective against this fortified position of Obelisk of Lights and Avatars. They're very slow, so therefore Juggernauts are very effective against them. So basically, the main bases, the main fields of Hitman have been exhausted. They're completely saturated, so it's only going to be this Tiberium field here, and there's only one harvester, so the economy isn't looking very good for Hitman, whereas Green Zero is long distance mining, yeah, but he just has so many harvesters doing so. So I think that's actually looking quite good. Now seeing Juggernauts rolling out, Juggernauts will rain artillery shells from afar into this base of Hitman and take out stuff if a Hitman has no way to deal with it other than these avatars. So let's see how it turns out. And actually, we do see Green Zero transitioning into some rocket troopers. Cool. That's what you need. Rocket troopers and Juggernauts against avatars, you know, are pretty good. Obelisk of Light will kind of deal with the rocket troopers, but not when there's Juggernauts firing at them. So the orcas are moving in, going to take down something, or avatars maybe? No, maybe not. Who knows? I don't. And so these harvesters are so exposed, Hitman could easily harass them, but he has no mobile army apart from the stealth tanks. Just kidding. Actually, yeah, Hitman does have a very good harassing army. He's going to lose all of these harvesters. What does Green Zero have to deal with them? Nothing at all. All he has are these slow Juggernauts and the rocket troops. But now here come the orcas. The orcas can deal with the stealth tanks, but otherwise the stealth tanks can also deal with the orcas. There's going to have to be very micro battle here. Who is going to come up on top? I would say the stealth tanks can abuse their stealth to take down the harvesters and not actually be killed or shot at, that sort of thing. So a good micro, they're taking out the harvesters without being destroyed, and so these Juggernauts are slowly firing and withering away the base of Hitman, taking out the obelisks and even the War Factory too. So the avatars are moving in forward. If the EMPs actually land on the Juggernauts, they are dead. But Green Zero will not let that happen. He's moving his Juggernaut. He doesn't want to get caught. And so definitely keeping units alive. Good work there. So we see a lot of orcas, a lot of RPGs, maybe RPG hammerheads, and that's very effective against these avatars. So the Juggernauts are definitely going to have to avoid being destroyed by the Spectre. But Spectres are kind of the smaller one, but actually, the Spectres are good if there's enough of them. But it looks like Hitman just doesn't have enough. How am I missing this? We have a stealth tank ambush in the very back of the base, taking down all of those orcas. That's a huge deal. Green Zero is getting his ass handed to him. He's losing his harvesters. He lost his orcas. All he has is this Juggernaut army, but it's going to be very effective against these avatars, because meanwhile, Hitman's economy is going strong. He's mining 4 harvests at a time, 4 and 2 refineries. So Hitman's looking very good because he just killed everything. And Green Zero doesn't really have any production or any economy. He does have a recommended hub, so he can get a MARV out. I think that's a MARV, and once that hard MARV gets out, then he can use that aggressively and maybe, you know, just kind of steamroll the tip field there, or maybe just play it safe, go for this one. But it's going to be artillery wars. Look, by the looks of it, Juggernauts versus these Spectres. The MCV is almost dying, taking half damage, and the Juggernauts are getting so weak. The Avatars are pushing in, the Avatars are taking out the rest of the Juggernauts. The Juggernauts are going down, but the MARV is on its way. The MARV could really tip the balance of this engagement here. The Avatars are also falling, but there's just so many defenses, so many, what are they called? They're called Shredder turrets, and also the anti-air turrets, and the Spectres. So Hitman has a very strong defensive line. Will it be enough to deter this MARV? Juggernauts did go down, but there's so many husks, Avatars, and Juggernauts. These engineers could recapture this, and this could go very badly for Hitman if he doesn't actually prevent this husk from being reclaimed. But it looks like Hitman is actually focusing down all these husks, the MARV crushing some, so there aren't many husks left anymore. The MARV being EMP'd by the Awakened. This is exactly what you need, Hitman. Keep EMPing the MARV, and you can finish it off with your Spectres. Come on, good work. More EMPs. So what are we going to see? We're going to see more engineers going to hop into the MARV to give it that field repair, and basically a rocket spam coming out of this barracks to deal with the MARV. Very effective. That's exactly what you need against MARV. EMPs and rockets and Spectres, and that's what he has. The EMPs are being landed, but he doesn't have enough. He needs a more reliable EMPs. He needs more buggies. He needs more Awakened. These Spectres are getting caught out of position. They're actually going down to the MARV. He can't lose the Spectres. That's a huge deal. Spectres are all going down, but now the rocket troops are making their way through the army of Green Zero, consisting of Avatars as well as Juggernauts. But the watchtowers are ripping through the rocket squads. They're so vulnerable against those watchtowers. Battle of defenses here by the looks of the MARV is muscling its way, taking down the base of Hitman. But will the Spectres be enough? I don't think they will unless he can land these EMPs. We need more EMPs because the MARV is so vulnerable if it cannot dodge the artillery barrage from these Spectres. So I think this MARV will turn the engagement here. Can Hitman deal with this? There are more Juggernauts, more watchtowers, more Orcas. I think that Green Zero will be fine. He just has to make sure he avoids these EMPs. The EMPs are very hard to land because they're quite bugged, but meanwhile we have a MCV in the very right field of this Tiberium field, going to get a base there. I would say Marvising, yes, good work. Green Zero now has the economy he needs to get more of an army, get more Juggernauts, get the husks that were destroyed. So shout out to Green Zero for completely overwhelming that base, and now as a result getting his own economy up and running, because that was all Green Zero had. Green Zero had no economy apart from this MARV, so that MARV was such a crucial moment for him. So the Spectators did all go down, so not looking good for Hitman anymore because he lost pretty much everything. And do we see Green Zero going to capture this Tiberium spike? He probably should. That's very important. They're not actually destroying it, so he's definitely going to capture it sometime, else he will have destroyed it. There are more stealth tanks on the field from Hitman. He can use this to deny the harvester count of Green Zero, but he doesn't really have any harvesters. He's relying on the MARV for the harvesting. So I think with these Pitbulls, taking down the stealth fighters, stealth tanks, stealth fighters are a unit in generals. We're not playing generals, we're playing Red Alert 3, and Green Zero is doing a very good job of it. So these Pitbulls and these Hammerheads can take care of these harvesters, but the stealth fighter will probably be enough to actually deter them, especially with the help of these rocket squads. Rocket squads are the ideal counter to these Pitbulls, but there are actually rifle squads, so interesting engagements here. The rifle squad's going to take down all of these rocket troops, so these Pitbulls will have no problems at all actually mopping up these harvesters. So Green Zero is being very aggressive, denying the mining, but now the Shredder turrets will mop up these rifle squads. So still, there's just so many harvesters left. Hitman just has so many harvesters, I think it won't actually matter. Meanwhile, the Tiberium Spike is going strong. Green Zero, what are you doing? Capture the Tiberium Spike. Whoops. So, what kind of tech are we seeing from Green Zero? He sold his tech center. Wow, okay, he must have been very desperate. He must be very, very desperate, selling his tech center to get those extra funds. Getting a second MC Conyard up, probably was a while ago actually. But, are we going to see a refinery go down the forward base? But that's okay, because more importantly, the MARV is pushing into the main base, or rather the forward base of humanity. He's going to actually, Hitman, is going to actually take out the harvesters with the detection of these Pitbulls, and that's just so effective with the zone troopers inside of it. He has zone troopers, he has grenadiers, he has everything he needs to deal with this forward base. The only problems we have here, we see a lot of rocket squads from Hitman. They will be very effective against the MARV. We're going to need to see more anti-infantry in the form of probably Hammerheads, I would say. So the refineries have been taken out by these MARVs, so not looking good at all for Hitman anymore, because Green Zero has taken out all of his economy and his Marvising as well. But not only that, we do also have the veteran MARV, and that's very effective because heroic units just get crazy when they're vetted, but there's so many RPGs, and the Avatar might actually be able to take this out right and now with it. Awakening, can maybe EMP it. Not looking good for this MARV. No, the MARV getting EMP'd, and he might actually lose this to the rocket squads and the Avatar. Come on, where are the Hammerheads? Hammerheads need to take care of these rocket squads, but he will actually lose that MARV. And with the MARV, there goes most of the income from Green Zero. He does have these 4 refineries now, but that's a huge deal. That's terrible. Losing the MARV is awful. When you don't actually have a recommended hub, or you don't have a tech center either, he cannot rebuild his MARV until he retakes the entire path, and that's not good at all. But we do see more refineries being built from Hitman. He lost his refineries, but he didn't lose his harvesters. So there's still quite a fair bit of economy for Hitman. Once he gets another refinery down, he'll be fine. He'll be fine. But there are people who's going to swoop into the base and take out some of these harvesters. Very good work there, because it's going to come down to who can get the most harvesters at this stage, because like late game economy is so fragile. But there's quite an impressive man spam here from Hitman, so I think I'll definitely going to need to see AP ammo. There is no AP ammo, and it's weird because AP ammo is such a crucial upgrade. You usually see it quite early. So once again, the Pitbull is being very effective against these harvesters, taking out more and more of them. But look, there's so many Pitbulls. The Pitbulls are taking out the power in the main base. They may even take out the operations center as well. But I think there goes the power of Hitman. He's going to have to sell some of his structures off, selling the barracks. These rocket squads won't be enough because the Pitbulls are just so fast, and there's just so many of them. They'll take out what he needs to. Take out the power, probably even the full refinery as well. So what is Hitman gonna do about this? I am not sure. And are we seeing Green Zero get more tech, or just getting more? Yeah, no, actually, no, getting his operating center, command post rather. So he's getting more tech. I thought he was going to get a second refinery. He doesn't need to, because he only has 1 refinery, and 1 refinery just is not enough. But then again, he has the ones in his base, but they're too far away, I think. So now more people is going to take him for another swoop attack, going to take out more of these important tech structures. They're so vulnerable because Hitman only has the slow RPGs and the slow avatars, nothing to deal with the mobility of these Pitbulls. So Hitman's going to actually lose quite a bit of his base, but will the rocket troops be able to defend them? The EMP may actually land on some of them. No, they will not. Oh, landing on one of them, not quite enough. But regardless, it looks like Hitman has saved his base. The operations center is now secured. Good work there. Very important, keeping your tech alive so you can build good stuff. But there's just so many harvesters. Hitman has a very strong economy at the moment, whereas Green Zero doesn't really. He only has 2 reliable ones, and even still, the refinery is quite far away, and the ones in his base not very effective. So I want to see another MARV coming out of Green Zero, but it's just so hard. Oh, look how many Pitbulls just died. Very bad engagement there, but he just has so many Pitbulls. It looks like these Pitbulls will be the saving grace of Green Zero. But the rocket troops are good against them, but not when the sniper team. Sniper team is going to take out all of these rocket squads, and that's exactly what Green Zero needs, is to deal with those rocket troops. So now the only threat for him is this Avatar. The Avatar is very effective, and the snipers cannot take out the Avatars, unfortunately. But regardless, the harvesters are getting taken down. This stealth fighter is going to maybe ward them off at the very least. So Green Zero being very aggressive, and yeah, there goes the stealth fighter. But now he will lose all of those Pitbulls over committing to the stealth fighter. Didn't even lose the stealth tank. I keep calling it a stealth fighter. It's because I play generals. Stealth fighter is like the little plane that drops bombs. It's pretty bad. But that's not the point. The point is Pitbull died, and now Green Zero is probably freaking out. He's like, what do I do? What do I do without Pitbulls? Well, the correct answer is you get Juggernauts. That is what you do. When we don't have Juggernauts, you don't have Pitbull, Juggernauts. Cool. So we do see, the tech center coming back down from Green Zero, but do we see tech center from Hitman? That is the question, and the answer is no. So no tech center from Hitman. That's very important, because whoever has a tech advantage in a late game scenario can be so important, because Juggernauts can just be the saving grace when you have the ability to just kind of barrage their base, and just have that artillery to really force the engagements. Whereas with, if they both have high tech, then it can be like, well, you have Juggernauts, but I have Spectres, so what you gonna do? I can also do the same thing. So again, I stand by. I think we're going to definitely need to see a second refinery here, because that's just not effective. But there is a stealth tank in the harvesting line of Green Zero, and he will actually lose these harvesters. But will the RPGs get there in time? No, they will not, because he's going to lose that harvester, and it's just so important at this stage when the economy is so slow in this late game scenario. Losing one harvester is just so important and so crucial, the Pitbull will clean that up with the help of these RPGs, but that has already been done, and now we do actually see the mortar upgrade from these Pitbulls. It was going to be investing. Oh, look at that! The Pitbulls are just so effective with the mortar against these buildings. So the mortars, as well as these the missiles, are just going to take down the power plant in a matter of seconds, and that's a very big deal, because without the power, there goes the production, there goes the basically the building time, and now once again the Juggernauts will rain death from afar, but the Pitbulls will be taken out, no problems at all, because the avatars are pretty good against Pitbulls, and so are RPGs, but it looks like Hitman's going to lose his base. He doesn't have much left. All he has is just these lone RPGs, and now there's just buildings scattered far and far apart, and it's hard to defend them when you only have slow, immobile units. So it's not looking good for Hitman, because he's losing his base to these people. If he can take down these refineries, then I think Green Zero will be fine. I'm actually surprised how Green Zero has so much stuff when he has such little income. So are we going to see another MARV come out? Maybe he's recommended a half building right now from the Harvester, the MCV, I'm not sure. But more and more Pitbulls! How do you have this many Pitbulls? That's fantastic. But I think these RPGs and the Avatar will be able to mop up these Pitbulls, no problems at all. The EMP landing on the Juggernaut. Hitman's micros is so good with these EMPs, with these RPGs. The Avatar is really paying off, being the brute force that he needs, and the Juggernaut may be able to get captured by the hand of Nod building of engineer, saboteur rather. So I definitely really got to shout out to Hitman for just having such good defense the entire game with, you know, the Avatar and RPGs against the fast, aggressive Pitbulls, which, once again, nope, that's just a rifle squad. Not a big deal, but that's okay, because I think Hitman is just slowly catching up, because Green Zero is really throwing away units. I mean, he's doing damage. He is making them do damage against, like, the power plants, against the refineries, but he is still throwing quite a fair bit of units away. But that is okay, because he has a tech center, and tech centers are good. I think he has a second refinery. Awesome, awesome, good work. Gonna get more and more economy with this, the 2 refineries, and I'm quite surprised how long this game has gone on for. This is really intense. I thought the game was gonna end so many times, but no, both players battling out, not giving up, putting up a very fierce resistance, and keeping themselves in the game. So it looks like we're going to see a tech center as well, tech lab from Hitman. So what will we see with this tech? Will we see Redeemer? I'm not sure. Will we see more avatars? I hope so. Avatars and stealth fighters, stealth tanks have definitely been very effective against Green Zero's army of Pitbulls and Juggernauts. Stealth fighters having the ability to just harass stuff, and avatars is having the brute force to defend against the Pitbulls. So we're seeing more stealth tanks moving out into the weak and vulnerable Harvester line. The Pitbulls may actually be able to defend this, but they're not going in the right direction. They're going into the main base of Hitman. So turn around your Pitbulls. No! The stealth tanks will take out some of these Harvesters unless the RPGs can deter them. One of them does go down, and he will lose more. No, he will not. Good work there. Dodging the Juggernaut. So, yeah, these Harvester snipes are just so crucial in this late game situation when the economy is so slow. The Pitbulls, yeah, once again, Hitman's being a freaking baller. Hitman's like, what's that? You want to take down my Harvesters? Nope, you can't, because I have RPGs and I have micro, and I'm good at this video game, so therefore you're going to get owned. But we do see MCV moving out from Green Zero. Very aggressive, very ballsy MCV. Might get caught by stealth tanks. MCVs are so vulnerable to stealth tanks if they are caught when they're in a mobile position. I'm not sure what he's going to do. Is he going to try and build like forward turrets in his base? Because it looks like it's Hitman is slowly moving towards the main base. So he's going to pick up this MCV. Probably going to start building some watchtowers, I would say, to deal with this infantry threat. And there's just so many of these Pitbulls. Wow, Green Zero, you really like Pitbulls, don't you? All the AP ammo watchtowers are going to rip through all of those infantry. That's definitely what he needs. That's very effective, very cost-effective anti-infantry. But they're not very mobile. But that's okay when your base is just so far forward. So Obelisk of Light will be able to destroy those Pitbulls, but the Juggernauts will be able to take it out. But not with the stealth fighters. Oh, the stealth tanks. Wow, I'm really bad at this. Stealth tanks will not be able to take out the Juggernaut. The Juggernaut will probably destroy the Obelisk, and that's very important because now the Pitbulls can rush into the fray. But the stealth fighters, stealth tanks, golly gosh, the stealth tanks are going to do some harassment of their own, perhaps against these power plants. These power plants are very vulnerable. So the tech lab, actually. But what's important is that the Pitbull push will probably be enough to take Hitman out of this game unless the Juggernaut gets taken down, because Green Zero is just relying on this Juggernaut so much to take down the Obelisk of Light. Otherwise, the Pitbulls just get owned by the Obelisk, the stealth fighters, stealth tanks. Stealth tanks will take down the harvesters and now the power plants as well. I would say that's my prediction. The Pitbull is just gonna mop through the power plants. The Juggernauts are not needed when the obelisks of lights are just in the wrong direction. Oh, they're gonna lose the tech lab as well, losing all of these important fragile buildings. Come on, go on, Hitman. You can't lose your entire base to a handful of Pitbulls. Probably more than a handful, but the point is, when you have a slow army of obelisks, avatars, and RPGs, it's very hard to deal with these Pitbulls as opposed to Scorpions, which are very fast. Stealth tanks actually taking out the Juggernauts. Good work there. So now the base will stay intact for the moment, and now we're going to see more Pitbulls. Yeah, more Pitbulls. No more tech, no MARVs, because X told his command center. Oh no, he didn't. It's over here. Whoops. Aha! Forward War Factory. You sneaky devil. So now he can pump out Pitbulls in the front lines. But actually, maybe even Juggernauts. Yeah, Juggernauts. But there's just so many rocket troops! So many rocket troops, so many specters, as well as avatars. So I think we're going to need to see more anti-infantry. That's what the watchtowers are for, but I don't think it'll be enough. Watchtowers are quite vulnerable to these specters. This is really intense! Oh my god! So stealth tanks are dying. And meanwhile, it looks like they will actually be enough to push away the main base of the command center of Green Zero, the rocket troops, and the avatars just being too much for the Juggernauts, for these watchtowers. Oh, Green Zero, you might lose your MCV. No! Pitbulls, you're abandoning the construction yard. That's okay, because you're going to make it worth it. You can take out all of the power, all of the techs, all the construction yards. So actually, I think this Pitbull push may take the game for Green Zero, because without the con yard, then it's not looking good for Hitman at all, unless this RPG army can win, but it probably will not. So that's literally the last of his income. Like apart from this, that doesn't count. That's not income. That's scraps. That's peasants' food. This is a majestic meal. So there goes the construction yard, and there goes the refinery eventually. But there will be man spam followed up by these hand of nod, the barracks. So not looking good. Not looking good at all, Hitman. I'm very sad to announce this, but I think you're going to get taken out of the game. So, I mean, Hitman does have a very strong army. He has a very good army of RPGs, Spectres, and Avatars, but Green Zero has the entire freaking map, and he has, you know, production and income, and not tech, because he sold his tech lab, so he's definitely going to try and win the game right here and now. Otherwise, he wouldn't sell his tech lab. But I think he has what he needs. All he needs to do is take out these buildings here, the War Factory, and he will have the game, because you can't win the game with just a barracks. You need more than a hand of nod to win the game. So I think these Pitbulls, rather, will try and snipe down the War Factory, and if they do, then Green Zero will take the game. But there's so many RPGs, Spectres, and yeah, Avatar somewhere, so I think he will be right. For the meantime, he will have to outmaneuver and flank these RPGs with some form of sneaky thing, and maybe deal with them with snipers. Snipers are very effective, as we have saw previously in the game where Green Zero was relying on these snipers. Yes, and we do have a very sneaky engineer, and that might turn the tide if it lands, but hopefully Green Zero learns a lesson, because that's the only reason why Green Zero didn't win the game, because he was fine, but then he lost that construction yard to the MCV, the engineer. But now with his sniper teams are wreaking havoc through these RPGs, but the MCV, the Harvester Crush, and the Spectres took out both of those snipers, and the third one also being taken out. So wow, Hitman, you just took out those snipers very effectively. Oh, but the MCV is actually going to crush the Pitbulls and maybe get taken out. Where did that come from? Come on, this game is just so freaking intense. The construction yard will get taken out, but so will the Pitbulls. I don't even know what's going to happen. I think Green Zero has this, but Hitman has a huge army of stuff. Sniper teams still holding the line. Grenadiers as well are also effective, but not when they get artillery shells in their face. So now I think the sniper teams will be the saving grace. But actually, there's no RPGs left. They all died. All of those RPGs got taken out by the sniper team. So now we have a transition into bikes. But Pitbulls are very effective against bikes, and the Pitbulls will mop up the Spectres and the bikes in a single blow. And that's pretty much all Hitman has left going for him, I would say. So now with the bikes, RPGs, and the Spectre's gone. I think Green Zero has free reign to take out the War Factory, and Hitman has been defeated. Oh, wow. I am actually overcome with excitement and joy and adrenaline, because holy crap, that was intense. That was just non-stop 35 minutes of action. I don't think I've ever seen, let alone casted, a 35-minute Command & Conquer 3 Kane's Wrath game. So that entire game was so back and forth. There was so much aggression, so much combat, so much death, so much micro, so much victory from Green Zero. So Green Zero being a freaking baller, and Hitman holding on like a true CNC free player. Whatever. No, I think definitely Hitman deserves a huge shout out for playing Marked of Kane, which everyone regards as a bad faction, and using his EMP so effectively. He microed his Awaken very well, disabling so many of those units, especially considering like how bugged they are. It's very hard to micro your Awaken. He did a good job, and he almost won the game, like how he took out the MARV with those Awakened EMPing down the MARV, so the effectors and RPGs could take care of that. So good game there from Green Zero vs Hitman. I have been Owner's Machine of the Gentleman, and so check out my channel for more Command & Conquer shoutcast, mainly Generals, and also a fair bit of StarCraft 2 as well. So, okay, well until next time, I'll probably do some more CNC3 in the future. It was a freaking awesome game. So, that was something, last words. So, goodbye!